Hello, everybody, and welcome to Annie T Chats. And I am absolutely thrilled and delighted to bring a gorgeous lady to the table for us all to feel into and see what she has to bring to the table, because I know what she has to bring to the table. She's absolutely amazing. She is the Spirit Seer, that is light language healer, Marlene Cronin. Marlene, welcome to the chats. I'm so happy that you agreed to come on to be here with us all today. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm delighted. It's always a privilege to be asked to do these things because just talking about it makes me really excited and happy. So it's always an honor to be asked.
Yeah, it's uplifting, isn't it? It kind of just lifts you up. You're just like, you know that you're doing something for the greater good because you're expanding your knowledge, you're expanding the awareness for everybody else. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? So I just want to ask you about the start. I did a bit of research, I did a bit of reading up on you and your pages on your webpage, and it's all fabulous, by the way. And I was reading about the origin that you've always had a close connection with spirit from a very young age. Can you tell
Yeah.
us about that?
I started, I was always a very, I suppose looking back now, like anxious child, but now knowing, how empath, and that energy kind of plays out, it usually shows up as kind of an anxiousness in a child, especially if there's adults around that, maybe have their own journey to go through and you're picking up on the energy. But it became more kind of where I can kind of put my finger on it. I was around 4 and I would see like people at the end of my bed or at the end of the room, but they would look like, um, in Star Trek where they beam them up, just before they beam them up off the ship. And that's how I'd see them. And I know that spirit were coming to me in that way because Star Trek would have been a big show in the 70s. And they appeared to me in a way that wasn't frightening for me, which I really appreciate. But it became very normal for me to see and to feel and to smell spirit from that age. Obviously, there were times where it was, unnerving, or I used to sleep with my sister because I'm the eldest of 10, but like I used to cuddle into my sister when I'd feel their presence around the bed because I couldn't understand it. And my mother was very sensitive as well. So if I called for my mother, she wouldn't answer me. Because she'd be like, "No way," because she'd know what I would be about to say to her. Like, so I had to kind of figure
Yeah.
out a lot on my own that way.
Yeah. And was it scary when this happened? For a 4-year-old child waking up and say, I get, I can
Yeah,
visualize exactly
yeah.
what, like
It,
like
it,
a
it yeah.
hologram.
It actually
Yeah,
wasn't. It wasn't scary. I've always been very curious, and I can feel it even at that age, looking at them, kind of going, "Ooh," kind of like, "Ooh, what's this?" But seeing them when I was young was kind of easier than feeling them. So it's the feeling them that would accelerate me a little. Now, like from now, if I'm helping people that have children that are very sensitive and very intuitive, um, I can explain that feeling is just when spirit are blending, then your nervous system can be activated. It can feel like you're having a panic attack, and a lot of people that are very sensitive to spirit get panic attacks because, or it feels like a panic attack, but it's just the energy, you know, blending or coming close to you can kind of trigger the body that way. So if I had had somebody to say that to me when I was young, that, it's just excitement, to reframe it, then I wouldn't have sort of looked at it through the lens of fear or felt it through the lens of fear. But I have to say, my mother was terrified. My mother was terrified of anything to do with spirit. She was very sensitive. My grandmother was very sensitive. And I grew up with that fear around it. I grew up that it was something to be feared. Because those old stories and the banshee and the the boogeyman kind of stories, and my mother would have been raised on those. So anything to do with spirit, anything to do with you know, dead people or anything was always felt and seen through the lens of fear. So I, being a child, absorbed that. It took me so long. It genuinely took me into my early 40s. I was actually, it was actually, and this always makes me laugh when I think of it, but I started watching, do you know, the Long Island Medium, John Teresa
Yes,
Caputo, and I
sure.
started watching her and like her early series when, you know, when she came out first, and she was so matter of fact about it. She was so like calm about it that I was like, you know, maybe I could be calm about it. And that was my early 40s. That side of it became more okay for me, you know. There would have been lots of people that I went to see to figure my stuff out and to figure out the light language. And they would all say to me, you know, you're a natural medium. And I went, no, I don't want that at all. I don't want that at
Associated it
all.
with,
So it takes time. It takes
yeah,
time for people to kind of unlearn
integrate.
that stuff. Know what I mean, Anne? But
Yeah,
with the light language, you know, it was very different. Like that happened. I was always a very like spiritually curious child, even very young, like even at 6 or 7. I'm showing my age now, but you know the cloth nappies, you'd know
yes,
probably.
yeah,
And I used to
yeah.
go upstairs and I tied the cloth nappy around my head like a nun. And I had my grandmother's prayer book, and I'd sit saying the prayers, and I was only 7. And I'd come
Well,
downstairs and my dad would be like, oh, here's Sister Macolada, down for dinner. You know, he'd mock me and I used to be very offended. Like, so, you know,
okay.
when you think about past lives and previous lives, that nun thing was very strong in me from that kind of age. But then I think that curiosity and that I used to love meditating very young. 12, 13, I would go upstairs and I would lie down and I used to love to listen to Taizé music. And I would have these spiritual experiences. I would feel myself expanding, crying my eyes out because of this tangible thing I would have for a brief moment. And it kept opening me up. And I think it was preparing me for the light language to come through.
Absolutely. When you look back, you're able to kind of join those
End it up.
dots and being
Yeah.
40. Does this kind of like at 42 years of age, does this massive shift for us? It's kind of like this rebirth. I had it at
Yeah.
42 as well. It's just like, but you're
Yeah.
in your adult acceptance of actually there's a theme of something going on here, you know? And but you do have that energy, that kind of well, an empath for sure that comes from you. You know, I've watched a lot of your videos and doing the light language, and this nun that you're saying like from past lives and stuff. Like I remember thinking that I when I grow up I want to be a nun. I remember saying
Mm.
that to the career even
I
when I
did
grow up I
too.
want
I did too.
because yeah because I was my nan. I spent a lot of time in
Yeah.
my grandma
Yeah.
and she was, you know, a woman of faith. And I remember kneeling down, going into the church with her, just sitting with her in the
Yeah.
sun. And I loved
Same.
all yeah, I loved all that. So when I'd go back, and I'm from a large family as well, from 11. So when I go back into it was overwhelming to be in the large family and to try and find your voice, to find your place of where you fit in. And where I fit in was in my grandmother's, in that space of where I felt held and supported. And it was just a different kind of energy. So I totally
It's a
get what you're saying.
sacred, it's a sacred energy. It's a sacred. I used to love going to all the,
Yeah.
you know, the Divine Mercy prayers and all of that. Like my grandmother definitely, you know, she gave me this beautiful gift of like devotion. I'd walk home with her and she'd be just saying, Sacred Heart of Jesus, I place all my trust in thee. Sacred Heart of Jesus, I place all my trust in thee. And I'd say, what are you saying? And she said, oh, they're aspirations, you know, just little, short little prayers. And
Yeah.
she never She was never somebody that would kind of beat you over the head with it, or you should be doing this or you should be doing that. She actually embodied it. She embodied devotion, and she embodied trust, and she embodied, she had, as she'd say, like our Lord and Our Lady, she had such a trust in them. And being around her, it always makes me emotional talking about her, but being around her definitely gave me that feeling of I'm held by something bigger,
Yeah.
you know? And it can be trusted.
Yeah, I love the way you've just put that. She was an embodiment of trust. She didn't go around beating you on the head, telling you what to do. Very similar with my story as well,
Mm.
with that link with my grandmother. And the reason the emotion is coming in because she's there, that's why they draw close to us. What a lovely story. So you were 14, 15 years of age.
Yeah.
You were like seriously at that age. Well, I wasn't meditating. I wasn't introduced to meditation until later, but
Yeah. Well,
tell
I didn't know it was meditating
okay.
in that way, it was just something that I used to enjoy doing. I used to love just lying down, and then, you know, letting, like, the Taizé music is just, it's a meditation, I suppose, in itself. Do you know what Taizé music is, Anne? Before I
No,
carry
I'm
on.
gonna ask.
It's just like, say they take, "Oh Lord, hear my prayer when I call, answer me," and they repeat it over and over again with layers of harmony. It's so, so beautiful. Taize. But it's layers and layers of harmony that just, at that time anyway, would just sort of allow my mind to go quiet and would just expand me out. And I used to crave that time. I used to crave that experience of being bigger than myself, being saturated in this feeling, and I would cry my eyes out over it. And another thing, I know I was raised Catholic, and I kind of, as I grew older, I kind of moved away from um sort of organized religion. A huge thing for me at the time was these they were, I suppose, like TV shows, but it was Jesus of Nazareth, and they were made in the late 70s. But I was like, I would watch them over and over, and like, I always had these visions in my head of like walking behind someone, and it's desert and sand, and the person ahead being Jesus. And like, I've never said that out loud now, Anne. But I always had that, like, it would come in a flash, like I was there with him, and I would follow him, and I was just one of the people in the back, but I would have went anywhere with him. And I always had this like gravitational pull towards Jesus and his energy and his story and his simplicity. He didn't use a lot of words, and just, he drew me so powerfully. And that kind of informed an awful lot of what I did. That feeling of, you know, love,
Devotion.
love as a practice, love as something you do day in, day out, whether it's hard, whether it's easy. I would always kind of come back to that. Where's the love in me right now? Is it far away? Can I call it back? That kind of thing of, if I'm
Yeah.
truly following him, then love was his message. And I used to always think like it was very watered down. It was like love, the way he like proclaimed it, takes everything you have. It takes everything you have. It takes a complete, it's devotion, it's commitment, it's, you're in it all the way in. And it's not easy, and it's challenging, and it's going to turn you upside down and inside out, because to lean on the human is so easy. You hurt me, F you, that's it, we're done.
Yeah.
What did he say? You have to forgive 70 times 7. I'm sorry for you, like, but and it doesn't mean being in that person's life, but it means reconciling inside yourself. All right, I've done stupid shit too, and I've messed up too. Where can I
Yeah.
find that in me? Oh my God. But like, I'm still walking that. I'm still trying to bring myself back to that. We kind of meandered off now. Sorry about that. But
No, like I'm
that
loving it.
that informed those meditation practices. That informed the feelings that I would have about other people, but wanting to be of service to them, and the power of healing and believing in the power of healing. And like this story, like I had so much trust as well at that age. And I had read this thing where you can just ask and it happens. And there was a lady in my mother's house, because she used to have, my mum used to have prayer meetings. And this lady was really struggling with her hip. And I said, sit down there, sure. Caught her legs, and I was like, right, her ankles should be matching, they're not. So in my head I said, right, let's let one leg grow to kind of even her up a bit. And then I closed my eyes, and then I opened, and her ankles were even. That's the kind of, like, I had so much absolute trust in it at that time. I still do, but I think life kind of kicks you around a bit, and that kind of changes. But to get to the light language, my mother was very much into the charismatic movement, which was all about the Holy Spirit, inviting the Holy Spirit in, and what they would call speaking in tongues. And it's, I call it light language, but speaking in tongues is you would have a particular, it would come through you, but that was your thing then. Where with light language, for me, it evolves, it changes, it grows, it develops, new aspects come in all the time. But my father could speak in tongues, and it's the exact same tongues that he got 30 years ago. Do you get me? That's where I see the difference between speaking in tongues and light language, because I'm always asked about it. But this lady came to the house, and my sister and myself were there, and she said, would you like to speak in tongues? So, now 13 or 14, we were kind of like, yeah, like we were like, I don't know what this is now, but sure, we'll have a go anyway. So she stood in front of us, and she said a little prayer over her throat, prayer to invite the Holy Spirit in. Now she said, off you go. And we were like, and it just poured out. My sister was in floods, and out it came. But what was interesting is the grandmother that I was talking about earlier, it didn't happen for her. And she was like really upset by that. But I know, like, my grandmother in that moment would have been a very private person. And I know that in that moment, she didn't want to she was afraid of sounding stupid, and she was afraid of letting it come out. But after that, then I would, in my kind of meditation times or times alone, I would be lying there, and then it would just pour out. Now, my mother had, like I said, prayer meetings downstairs, and there was a lot of, you work in energy. There was a lot of like expelling, right? There was a lot of like negative energy coming out of people that they didn't have. They called it slaying in the spirit, and demons coming out. That's what they called it. There was no windows open. These people, some of them were rolling around the floor. I found out afterwards. And I was up in my bed. And then this energy would move through, and it would be bile. It would be angry words coming out. It would be F you. And I was lying there going, what is going on? And understanding it much later on, I was processing all the stuff from downstairs.
Okay.
So all that
Jesus.
unprocessed anger and everything, I was like a vessel for it, and it was coming up and out through me. And all these people downstairs were having these wonderful experiences. And this went on for a long time. And I would be twisting and contorting, crying my eyes out, saying, please make this stop. I don't like this at all.
Oh my
But I
goodness.
couldn't stop, because if I stopped it, I would feel like it was stuck in my body, and
Okay.
I had to keep letting it flow through. And then I could be there like over an hour, just contorting and twisting and, these experiences. And when I would be on my own, because my upbringing was challenging. When I would be on my own, then I would feel a lot of my own stuff moving through. I would know what it was. I would feel that anger. I would feel that hurt, moving through my body. So it was clearing me, even though it was challenging because I didn't know what was going on. But it would clear me, and it was something I kept like private. I tried to speak to my parents about it, but again, they had a very rigid idea of what was happening. So then I had to kind of go it alone. So this was years and years and years of, I would be by myself and just have these like clearing experiences, or people speaking out through me, like in English, like angry. The house was so, like, there was so much going on in my home. Um, and then as the years went on with it, I would find that if I had been around people that were very heavy or sad or anything like that, when I would go and meditate, then it would move through. It would move through me, and I
Through
said,
sound.
what?
Through sound. Would it, like, through the light
Yeah,
language? It was,
through the light language and through just full body movement. Like I used to say to my husband, and I still say to him sometimes, you would actually get an exorcist if you saw me. But
oh my
I
goodness.
didn't have, like, I always knew it was okay, if that makes sense. I never was afraid or thought there was something wrong. I always knew it was just, this was me. This was something that I had to do. And it was going on for years. And then, kind of like I said, when I started coming up towards my 40s, I started to feel it more powerfully that this was something that needed to be shared, or needed to go out more than just with me, right? And I used to go to people and I used to try to explain it to them, and they would say things like, oh, that's transmediumship. And I would like, it isn't transmediumship. I know what transmediumship is. This isn't it. They had no answers for me. And then one day I was on the computer. This was before kind of I got into fancy phones and stuff. But this girl came up and she started speaking it. And I ran out and I was crying and called my husband and said, look, 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 it's light language. This is what she's calling it. And I researched her, and she's a woman called Vanessa Lamart, and she actually sings the light language. And then there was very few people at that time putting up videos of light language. It was nobody really knew what it was at that time. And then I started to go, okay. Then somebody came to me for help, and I said, hop up on the couch there. I said, are you open to me doing this with you? I haven't done it with anybody. Are you open to me doing this with you? I said, yeah, I trust you. So we did the session, and she got up and she was like, oh my God, that's medicine. That's medicine. You need to be sharing that. I've never experienced anything like that. You need to be sharing it. But I was so afraid, Anne, of
Yeah.
looking like a complete loon, right? Then it started to be a case where I will get these insistent thoughts from spirit if they want me to do something. And they kept saying in my head, you need to start a YouTube channel. Anything technology, I start crying. They were like, you need to start a channel, you need to start a channel, you need to start a channel. So I got my son to set one up for me. And I used to give
Coincidence.
myself likes originally because I was so embarrassed that someone would come and see me looking like a loon, and there's only like maybe 2 likes on it. And I'd give myself 40 likes. And then I thought, right, and then I was like, all right, whoever finds it, if this is what you want me to do, fine. Whoever needs to find it, find it. And then this is where it just got terrifying for me then. We want you, I had just started kind of a fledgling Facebook page for psychic cards. This, just dipping my toe. And they said, right, we want you to put a video up on Facebook. And I, like, I often say if they'd actually asked me to go topless on Facebook, it probably wouldn't have been as intimidating. I swear to God, I was like, right, if you want me to do this now, and everyone that I know is going to see me doing this, you better bring it. You better bring it. Now, that's all I have to say. Went on anyway, and you can, like, this is me. Hi, my name is Marlene. I'm telling you now, I was so nervous. But there were
Yeah.
so many colours, yellow, pink, green, blue, all around me. So they brought it, in fairness to them, they brought it for me. And then nobody laughed. Nobody laughed. People actually said, I actually felt something. That was that was really nice. I would like to see more of it. And I used to put up a video every Tuesday. And of course my family, like, you know, when you're the odd one in the family, they're gonna kind of go, okay, whatever.
Just leave. Yeah,
And
center
then
of
yeah, then I kind of kept going, and then I had people starting to approach me then for the work, and a lot of people that approached me for the healing, um, it was very deep. It it was very deep. It would have been very, very strong, you know, and I think that was just spirit showing me, look, this is, you know, this can work. And then in around 2018, I again just got this kind of very strong instinct to put up a video how to activate light language in yourself. And then it just took off. Then it just took off. Then the channel took off. A lot of people were reaching out to me. Kind of between 2018 and like say 2020, I had a massive amount of people looking to understand it. People were activated by listening to the videos. Please help me to understand it. What does it do? What, like, people wanted to label it. Are you Arcturian? Are you Syrian? Are you, you know, they wanted the galactic kind of, what are you? And
yeah,
I would always say to people, I don't label it, because why would I put it in a box? Why would I say, yeah, I'm Arcturian, or I'm, you know, those kind of galactic forces? Why would I not let it open? Why would I not let all these aspects that want to come through come through? You know, do you know what I mean? Because I think, like, we like labels, and couldn't be more of a label hog than me. But I think we limit ourselves. We limit
yes,
ourselves with that, because when we put a label on something, that's as far as it can go. It has its limit then. When we take the label off, we just become a pure channel then. Whatever comes through then, when you hold that space of connection, obviously, um, is grand. There's no worries. There's no problems with it. A lot of people say to me, like, you make it very normal. You're very, like, whatever. And I always try to do that because of the fear that I came from. And God bless her, Teresa Caputo at the start being so normal about it. I was like, yeah, grand. And I try to do that. Do you know what I mean? I try to do that. I'm trying to, like, there's nothing strange or startling about it, girl. You know, you're grand. Just relax into it. Now, that's not to say that if you have, like, if you, like, there's people who will choose this path to help others in a healing, connecting way. And there's people will choose it to develop themselves, and they don't want to go further than that. And that's fine. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
I
People
do.
that
Yeah,
just want their little close circle, and they put their hands on their kids, and they take care of their kids and whatever, and it's fine. But what I will say to you, and I know you work in energy as well, Anne, so I know you'll understand me when I say this. It fills your space. When you connect to that energy, everyone you think about, your whole house becomes, someone walks in and they immediately decompress. Your children are healthy. Thanks be to God. Mine, like, haven't gone to the doctor in about, since they were small. Like, we had to go to the doctor, two of my kids had to go to the doctor recently for blood tests, and just to keep them up to date. And they were like, did you leave us? Did you go to a different doctor? Because you're not down here since you were. You know what I mean? They were
yeah,
smallies. And I use aromatherapy as well. And, like, I think that's how we should be. We're natural. It's natural to us. Healing is natural to us. It's when we put it outside of ourselves then and we're afraid. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with it. We don't have to run for the tablet all the time. We don't have to run to the doctor all the time. There's a wealth of intuition there. And I think when you tap in energetically, whether it's through meditation, prayer, light language, Reiki, any of the other beautiful, modalities that are there, it allows you to tap into what is abundant within you. And you'll find then that your children or your loved ones or your neighbours, they all feel it when you're near. Like I sat next to a woman a while back at a wedding, and she was full of physical moans and groans. And I do this thing, like I said, going back to Jesus. I go back to,
Yeah.
I do this thing of, how would you look at her if you were Jesus? Would you sit there irritated if you were Jesus? You wouldn't. You'd look at her with love. And halfway through her conversation, she kind of went, "You're a very peaceful person."
She picked up on it.
And she kind of went, "We don't have to talk about this, do I?" And I goes, "You don't. We'll talk about something else." That's the power everyone has. Everyone has that. What I will say is, if you're drawn to a modality, be it light language, be it Reiki, IET, any of those, go all in. Let it open it. Let it have you. Let it have you. Don't let the fear, which is very natural with something new. If you're listening to light language or someone is working on you energetically and you're kind of like, stuff comes up, that's all right. That's all right. You know that. Like if it's like, some memory bubbles up or you feel like you're going to cry, or give yourself over to it completely. Just relax and realize it's already gone. The body is just catching up, But if you do open yourself to this, I would always say, like with anything, trust your intuition, trust your guidance, because there are some light language speakers that don't resonate with me. I've listened to them and they jar me, and I listen to the jar. I've gone to reflexologists that have left me completely discombobulated coming out the door. I don't go back to them. It's still the human. It's still a human. And some of us have done maybe more of an excavation than others. So if you're coming to somebody like, or you're listening to light language, it should feel opening. Even if you're sad with it, even if it feels like stuff is processing through, it should still feel loving. It should still feel like you're opening to something beautiful. If you clench up and you feel afraid, or your butt clenches, or you get that shiver, trust it, turn it off. Turn it off. It's either you've evolved past that level, or there's something in the human that is jarring with you. And sometimes that can be that you need to heal that part too, but not with this person. Does that make sense?
100%.
Yeah.
I was introduced to light language through my Reiki 1, and I didn't know anything about it, but it was very much part of my 21-day process of listening to light language. And I always remember my husband walking into the kitchen and it was on full blast, and I'm sitting on the table, by myself,
Yeah.
completely crystals around me, and was doing my 21 days. And he walked in, oh, for God's sake, what is this? And I'm like, well, it's light language. And I didn't know much about it, but when I start doing the Reiki, light language was coming through, but it made me uncomfortable. It made me and my person uncomfortable. And I remember saying to my guides, "Can I speak? If you want me to speak, I need to speak in English that I can understand." And I know it's soul based, and it's a vibrational. It bypasses the intellect, doesn't it? It just
does.
bypasses.
Yeah. I think that's how it's meant to be too. Yeah, sorry. Go on.
No, you're okay. But it's just educating yourself about it. If I'm doing attunements for Reiki, sometimes it comes in really strong over people. And I'll always recommend you, Marlene, I say there's all different types of light language
Yeah,
out there,
yeah,
and you will resonate with some, and you will, there's other. So I do say to them, go out there and just explore that, because I know it's in that person to
yeah,
do
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, there's galactic, there's all
yeah.
different shapes, forms of it,
Yeah,
but
it's like a
I
lineage, and people will hook into one side. Now, this is kind of going a bit. Hopefully, this won't turn your viewer or your listeners off, but it's very much like a metaphysical thing. So it's in my personal beliefs. We are, time isn't linear. Everything is happening right now. Okay, so
yeah,
from my personal
yeah,
belief, I am many, many, many beings, many different versions of Marlene. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
in this moment right now, because time isn't linear, time is now. I am all those things now. So the
yes,
light language allows me to access those versions of myself that are not human and are beyond this human limitation and can come through me in this avatar as Marlene to bring advanced healing beyond the human, Marlene, and can bring it in this moment. And that's why I say don't limit it, because if you limit it, you're getting the version of you that's Arcturian and that's it. If you take the limits off, you have access to unknown versions of yourself that are beyond and would blow your mind if you even had a little, like a taste of what you're doing somewhere else. So
oh,
that's my personal belief system, and that's what comes through then with the light language. And let me tell you, Anne, there's no one more excited when a new aspect comes through. So I could be working with someone and next there's a new tonality or and I'm like, oh, I'm
yeah,
so excited because I know that that's an up level then. I know that my physical body, which has gone through, over 30 years of acclimating to this level of energy. It's not something like, people are so impatient, and when it's activated in them, I understand the excitement. But if you're going to hold this space to heal others, you're going to have to, I always say, let it have you. You're going to have to, like, let it clear you. And that's not going to happen in 5 minutes. Now, everything is accelerating, and the more, like, when there was a huge flood of light language healers then on YouTube, the people now being activated will have access to that higher energy because so many people have come through. Does that make sense? So it's like, like the guy who did the 4 minute mile, it was impossible until your man Bannister did it, and then 2 minutes later everyone's doing the 4 minute mile. It's like
yeah,
that. And it was the same with mediumship. People used to have to sit in circle for 7 years before they could go out and do it. Now people are, a very short space of training and they're out there. I don't really endorse that, but, like, there has to be a certain amount of training. But it's not
yeah,
like before because the energy's different. So somebody coming and being activated in light language now could very well, however much they're attuned, tune in and say, let me be attuned to the highest version of this, the highest version of myself, so that the shedding process isn't as intense. Let me reap the benefits of those that have done it before me, and
yeah,
they get a clearer version. But I still say, if you're meant to hold that space for people, if you're meant to be somebody, that helps people in that way, you have to be cleared. You have to be cleared. You just, anything you're holding that's dense is not going to kind of survive in that vibration. Do you know what I mean? And it's the
yeah.
same, it's the same with anything. You can't,
With
you,
any energy.
yeah, you can't bring it through in its purest form with
Mm,
density, with density. It's not saying that you can't do it, but there will be a cap on it. So you might draw people that are at your at your stage, and they might get a lovely healing, but it's only
Yeah.
when you let go your fear and kind of really go in, then you could meet that person and go, we've a bump up, girl, and you can help them come up to the bump up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Vibration. So it's
yeah,
going up and down, and you have to go up, and you have to, it's bringing them up. It's like you're the vortex you're saying about the house, being in the house, the healing. You're like this walking generator of healing energy. And anyone that's receptive to it, that whether it's in the queue of a shop, and they'll stand there, they could be behind you, or you're behind them, and you can just see them looking around, and you're just like, you're just giving it, they're
yeah,
feeling the energy
yeah,
from you, you know?
yeah,
But it's fascinating how it works, isn't it?
yeah.
But
And
see, you were saying about, sorry for interrupting you,
I get too
the work.
excited then.
Oh, I'm excited. That's amazing. Like the tears were actually streaming from my eyes when you first started talking. I was just like, oh my God, your energy is just, it's just beautiful to listen to.
Likewise,
And
then. Likewise.
thank you. And the devotion that you have, that's carried you through from childhood. It's just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But see the way you're saying about the work and becoming that clear channel. Um, the labels was huge for me. So it's becoming the channel is releasing those labels. Can you
Yeah.
explain to somebody that has this coming up, whether it's Reiki, any kind of healing modality coming up, what would you suggest? What would be their go to explore this about themselves, or to release the labels? Because I
Okay.
feel that you can explain this.
Yeah. I think with the labels, I think you have to be very patient with yourself, because it is a lonely journey. I'll
Yes.
say that, right? So the labels give you excitement and they give you comfort. Okay. You have something that people can associate something with, and it gives you a kind of a legitimacy. So if you're starting out and you're nervous, a label is good. It's helpful. Okay. But as you're going along this journey, like I'll just give you an example from myself, right? When I would be working with people, especially like online, I'd be calling in Mary Magdalene, Saint Teresa, Joan of Arc, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, and I'd have like this
No.
squad around me. Jesus and Mary, channel
Yeah.
it down. Here we go,
She's
right? So
very,
I would have all of that, and
yeah.
then I felt this more and more and more. They're all you, you're all them.
Yeah.
And I was like, but no, I need my team, because I was so like, it's the same with guides, and this is the heartbreaking part. You can hang on to them. You can keep them if you want, if it makes you feel better. But to really, really like come through to where nothing frightens you, nothing phases you, you have to reach that point where you're all of it, it is all of you. So you can
Yeah.
sit here like I
Yeah.
do now before I start. I connect in and I go, let you be me, me be you. Let the highest good for this person come through, healing, love. And I'll feel the shift into love. I'll start smiling, I might nod. And I know that the inner now it's all connected in. And whatever flows is coming from that beautiful space. That's not to say in mediumship that I don't ask for loved ones in spirit to draw close, because I like to do that and they will come through that way. But I let go of all of the crutches. And they're there for that purpose. They're there to kind of give us this feeling of you're okay, you're not on your own, you're grand, but they're training wheels. And I know people hate that, but it's like you can keep them. You can keep them as long as you want, you can keep them. But if you're going all in on this journey, you have to get past that loneliness of feeling like, but if they're not there, I can't do it. You have
Yeah.
to open up to that feeling of God is in you, you are in God, you are the divine in human form.
Yeah.
When you really land into that, then it's
Mm.
another level. It's something else completely then. And then, the the loneliness. I went through all of that so deeply, but then I could never go back. I could never go back to it then without feeling like I was like play acting or something, because it's like, you know what you are. Come on. You know
Yeah,
what you are. So in letting go of the labels, what I would say is just be gentle. If you're afraid and you're like, no, I can't do it without Archangel Michael, that's grand. That's grand. Do it with Archangel Michael. You will
that's right.
come to a point where you won't need it anymore. And with all respect to healing modalities, what I say to people as well, you will go beyond them. Reiki, Reiki blew my head off, like, and my teacher was very ill prepared to deal with me. I was in a group of people full on shaking. This went on for about 3 weeks. She didn't know what to do with me. It really, really blew the top off my head. And for me, I found Reiki to be, it felt too, I don't know, like, I don't want to show any disrespect, but it just didn't feel like me. So I did that for a while, and then I was like, I kept pushing the light language to the back. It was like, it felt like something I couldn't bring out. And then I did other healing modalities, and I would enjoy doing them, but that was always there. You are already this. You are already really attuned to this. You know, and I would always find with modalities, no matter what they were, I would pour through anyway. So if you need those stepping stones, and a lot of people do, a lot of people feel no one's going to take me seriously if I say I'm an energy healer. I need, I need the label. I need the label of Reiki. I need the label of Reiki Master. To me, that's just like if you have the money, and I like with all the love and respect in the world, but if you have the money to pay for Reiki Master, you're a Reiki Master. That doesn't make you a Reiki Master. What makes you a Reiki Master is being out in the field and dealing with people and dealing with your own stuff. And it's the same, it's the same, it's the same. No matter what form of healing you go into, psychic is healing, mediumship is healing, hands-on is healing, distant is healing. You are the thing. You are
You're
the
the channel.
thing. You can spend thousands, and I have spent a lot of money over the years just through my curiosity and through wanting to be the best I could
Me too.
be for people. But at
Me.
the end of the day, when you put all of that aside, what are you? What's your energy about? What do you like when you sit on the bus and some smelly person sits next to you? What do you like when you have to stand in a queue in the post office and someone is talking negative in front of you? What do you like then? What do you like in the supermarket when the queue that you went into, the girl got up and went off down for a chat with her friend? What do you like then? Because you can do all the energy stuff all day long, but if you are
Yeah.
not embodying it, going back to my grandmother, if you're not embodying it, there's no point. And I just say briefly, I don't know if you've ever heard about Eric Pearl. He does the reconnection. That's what he calls his healing, right? And that was kind of opened up in him. And the reason I bring him up in the conversation is that he said, because we're in this time right now where the energy is so potent and so delicious. He said, you could be sitting next to somebody on the bus, and if they have that opened in them, they will activate you if you're
Yes.
ready. So if you're sitting there and you're in a good mood or you're loving or whatever, you can be activated. You could be in the worst mood of your life and someone could sit next to you and activate you, and you could go forward and things could start changing for you and pouring out of you, and you're like, I don't know where that came from. And it could come from Anne being lovely and sitting next to you on the bus, and you go off and your world has changed.
But energy transfer is a real thing, and I don't think anyone realizes just how it travels so
Yeah,
quickly and activates or deactivates,
yeah,
shuts someone down with your words. It's your words are like they're spells. They're like you're creating something with, of course, the ability to
yeah,
communicate. It's just it's fascinating, isn't it? Like I call it Reiki, that was my anchor, but it's so much more than that. But I still call myself the Reiki master healer,
yeah,
that kind of
yeah,
way. my guides were always like, no, you need to just strip it down just to that, to activate
Yeah,
it in others to find out about themselves, you know. And I always say to them, don't be me. I want you to do you. I'm going to give you the space to do
yeah,
you.
yeah,
But I'll walk alongside them for that 21 days for the healing. Oh, I could listen to you all day, Marlene. I swear. And you know, I'm looking at the screen here and your face has changed into every color. It's
yeah,
been yellow, it's been purple, and I'm looking at it going, oh my
yeah.
God, this is
And
amazing.
that was sorry, no, I have to say this. That was actually how, because I always want proof. That's just how I am. Prove it, show me. And when I would have people on the couch in front of me, the colors would come over their face. So I would start working, and then I would start to see purple, yellow, red, over their face, green, and their face would change. So all like any like past life stuff, any other stuff that was coming through, their face would transfigure. So they would
Yeah,
have different faces. So they know that I need that, so for a long time they would give me that. So it's fabulous now that you say that, because again, it's a validation for me that you gave me there now with the colors.
your face is just changing colors, and that's just all parts of you in this present moment.
Yeah.
Using
Me
Marlene
and
as that.
you. Yeah, me and you together. Yeah,
Yeah,
co-creating.
it's
Yeah.
God, it's I don't know if people are going to watch this on YouTube. I don't know when it'll show up, but I definitely can see it across the screen. Like I've so many questions where I'm like, oh, give me more, give me more, give me more. Therapist, reflexologist, a sports massage. Like obviously this was all part of your
Yeah.
training to be this light language healer.
Yeah.
And your house smells of oils. I can almost
Yeah.
smell it. And I'm the same. I always have to have the smells in the house. And that is just healing in itself. And it's just
Yeah.
letting you know.
But
Yeah.
again,
So
that was the label for me. Those were legitimate labels, you know?
yes.
Those were
Yeah.
legitimate labels. So that was my road until Spirit said, strip it all away, Mar, strip it all away, come back down, psychic medium, light language. That's it now. Unless
That's
I'm
it.
doing it for family.
Yeah.
Like I had this business card, when business cards were a thing. And it was nearly a paragraph. And they kept saying to me, you need to pull it down to three things, three things, three things, three things. And then I was like, okay. I always say okay to them. It might take a minute, but I always say okay to them. I always say, okay, yeah, all right. That part is done now. And this part needs to be big.
Yeah. I just say I understand. I have to say the words I understand. And when I say
Yeah,
I understand, then I can move on to something else.
yeah,
If I
yeah.
don't, that there's a process that's happening for me. Um so I also read that you have the ability, you have a knowledge of the anatomy, obviously now, with you being sports massage in
Yeah.
your part of doing things. Um, so do you see in people's bodies what? Okay, so describe that for me. What you see, Marlene?
So
For
it's not something I consciously tune into, but if I'm working with someone, whether I'm
yeah,
working with them psychically, you know, mediumistically, if spirit want me to see it, but um, working with them in any form, healing wise, um, they will show me something. So they might show me kidneys or the womb. They'll show me um the base of the womb if there's been, abortion, miscarriage. It has a different look to it. Um, they can show me in the most bizarre ways, to be honest. Like this is really weird. But there was one lady came for a reading, and they were showing me her dad who's living, turned sideways, and his bum, and it was all impacted. And she said, "Oh,
oh,
his bum, his ass,
what you said there is like what?
his arse." And she said to me, "Oh my God, shit, he's just after coming back for tests for rectal cancer." And
Okay,
what they showed me was energetically impacted, and that would be cleared. That in that moment we had, me and her, we could call it in and we could clear it. And she got back to me a few months later and she said, he's grand, no bother at all. So they can show me sort of metaphorically, if you know what I mean, or it's an actual physical thing. Another thing, I had a lady come for a reading and her husband's name was Patrick and her son's name was Patrick. And I was getting a heart thing. And I said, look, you need to get this checked out for Patrick. There's something, nothing, nothing to be worried about, but maybe just get it checked out. So she was fixated on her son. And during the week, her husband was like, tight in the chest or whatever. And it clicked. She'd get into the doctor.
Right
Get into the
away.
doctor. And he
Yeah.
actually had to have surgery. It was like some
Stents or something.
hole or something, and they caught it. And they were saying to her, like, if you had let that go on a few months, we would have been looking at a very different issue.
Yes.
So my thing is always, and I'm sure you understand this, Anne, as well, there has to be discernment to what you tell people,
Yeah.
but you have to tell them. You find a way to tell them.
Yeah.
But if you're trained, and this is always the thing with me, mediums have to be trained. I'm loving all these natural born mediums and all of that, but there has to be training with the public. There has to be training in how you relay
Yes.
information to someone.
It's
And
hard.
yeah, it is. But
I've
if you
told you.
even shoot up a message and go, a text I was going to say there, if you say, show me how to say this, and oftentimes with me, it'll be humor. Like that girl actually fell down laughing that I was looking at her dad's bumhole, and it was like she was able to find the humor in it. But sorry, but that will happen, or they will show me something so that I can clear it in that moment. So I might see a backup in the tubes, or the energy in one kidney isn't functioning the way the other kidney is, and I kind of just sit there and talk it out, talk the energy through, move the energy through. See,
Yeah.
I don't know, with me, and I always had this thing of ask and you receive. So if you see somebody who's doing something that excites you, I would always then say to Spirit, I want that. I want that. I want to be able to do that. And then I would say, the name of the healer, and I'd say, I can do that just like she can do, even better. Or I can do that just like he can do, even better. And I would
Yeah.
say that, and then in a very short space of time, I would find myself doing that.
Doing it.
Yeah. Like I always had this thing with this healer called Christy Marie Sheldon. And she has this thing where she works with guys, big money guys, where they have issues with money. And this is her. She'll sit there and she'll go, and she'll feel in, and she'll pull out the thing, and she'll clean it up, and we're done. And I'm like, I want to do that. And for ages when I go on my walk, I'd say, I can heal just like Christy Marie Sheldon. I can do it just like I'm meant to do it. And I would have this thing in my head and I would see me doing it. And then Spirit would give me the opportunity. Do you want to look
Yeah.
stupid? Do you want to look stupid? Okay, but you can do this. And then I'd be like, boop, boop, boop. And they'd be like, oh, I felt something change or something pop. And then it would change. Same with mediumship. I used to see in live demonstrations, I used to see mediums go straight to the person in a huge crowd. I'm with Mary down there with the purple jumper, and I used to be like, oh, I want to do that, I want to do that. And then I
Yeah.
could do it. But
I'd
then I
love to
could
be.
do it. Yeah, then I could do it. Then they just, and then that's how I think. We're meant to be like children, and we're meant to be all excited.
Yeah.
We're meant
Yeah,
to
I
be
get.
all excited,
And
you
I
know?
go, I love to be able to do that. It's like, why not? Just do it. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
but
I can't.
you can't say I'd love to be able to now, because you'll just be
Yeah.
stuck in the I'd love to be able to. You have to
Yeah.
say now, I'm so happy that I can do that. I can do it exactly like her and even better. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. You know? And it's
Yeah. Yeah.
actually, you mentioned when we were chatting at the beginning, your friend Hannah the medium, and she actually has a mantra, I'm a phenomenal medium,
Yes. And she
that I
makes us all.
started using. I started using that, and I'm like, I'm a phenomenal medium. And then I, made it my own, and I was like, I get extremely accurate information that makes the client feel loved and held by their loved one.
Yes. So there is an
So, yeah.
affirmation. she would get all the students to say that. And before we do the demonstration, she's like, repeat it, and you're just
Yeah,
repeating it.
you have to.
Yeah,
You
because
have to do that.
affirmations, you're just putting it into your field. It's like believe it, feel it, you've got this. I love the way she teaches, by the way. I'm just like,
And if you're excited,
yeah,
it's a sign that it's yours. If you're
yeah,
turned on by something, it's in you already. So then you
yes,
have to claim it. That's all you have to do is claim it. I love that. Thank you that it's in me. Can't wait to
yeah,
see what you do with it. That's what you have to be. I can't wait to see how you show me it. And you have to be
yeah,
all excited about it because you're not excited about plumbing. You're not saying, oh my God, that is top tier plumbing. I love that. But there are people who are. There's people who just get totally high and happy for a good plumbing system. That's their calling. Somebody who bakes, they're looking at, your one Contessa or whatever, and they're like, oh my God, I can nearly taste that. And then they go away and they make something even better. That's their thing. So if you're getting excited by something,
yeah.
that's your thing. That's your thing.
It's interesting though, isn't it? We have to. I used to think that I was losing that excitement. Like getting ready for holidays 3 weeks beforehand and getting everything together, manifesting what I'm bringing, and I'd be getting all excited, and everyone was saying like, "It's not another 3 weeks. Like, why are you doing it now?" And I'm just like, "Because I'm excited." And I used to say, "Are you not excited?" Or like, "What's the story here?" And there was always that interference, and I'd be like, "Oh, well, maybe I should be waiting. Maybe there's something wrong." But
Yeah.
I always say to people, "Don't lose that excitement." Like I'm so excited all of a sudden, you know. Yeah, an energy of you just, yeah, I can do
But you're
this.
meant to be. Because, like, when we meet people who are excited about what they do, whether
Yeah,
we're into it or not, we're like, what? Tell me more. We're excited. Like, they could be talking about bricking a wall, but if they're like, oh my God, you should see the concrete I got down today. Seriously now. And you're like, great. And you just feel kind of lifted because they're doing their thing and they're doing it all in with no shame, no embarrassment. They're like, I'm passionate about it and I'm going to let you know. If you don't want to know, that's fine. But the
yeah,
enthusiasm, you see, where I used to go wrong with manifesting is I'd go off for an hour's walk and I'd be in the zone and I'd be picturing everything that I want. And then I'd come home and start giving out about the clothes thrown on the floor, the butter knife on the thing. And then I realized you can't manifest from 1 hour of being in a good mood. It has to be through the day where you're checking your energy and going, where's my face right now? Am I frowning? Am I smiling? Can I shift? My thing lately is if I was to act this part, if I was to go for an audition right now and I had to act the part of the best medium in the world, how
yeah,
would I act? I'd walk in there expecting to see all of their loved ones and blowing them away. But your grandmother said anyway, stop using a recipe because you're making it wrong. And you'd have that enthusiasm. You'd have that sense of confidence. And
yeah,
that's the thing where you have to, again, you're on that path. You have to walk your talk. You have to be somebody that trusts that I can shift this energy. I can shift into the version of myself that's relaxed, that's happy, that knows everything is already ahead of me. Or I can be a moaning bee, giving
yeah,
out about the day, the pain in my leg, blah, 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 blah. And then I'll just get more of that. So do I want to just shift just a teeny bit? Just a teeny bit. You say, even just say, oh, do you know what? Thank God I can see out the window. I'm
yeah,
upright. The sky is blue. I love the wind. Something. And you'll shift. But you
yeah. It's
have
like,
to pay attention. You have to know yourself. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
observing yourself in those stressful situations,
Yeah.
or person beside the bus, when you're required, I suppose. I remember somebody outside here at the corner. She was obviously after falling, and there was people around her. I was turning into the cul-de-sac, and in that moment, I was like, "What will I do here?" Then it was like, "No, go away. We're fine." And I left it, but I was like, "No, I really wanted to go over and hold her or touch off her, just give it that physical
Yeah.
touch."
Yeah.
And I felt I failed. I was like, "Oh my God, I failed the test." But it's little things like that. Just
Yeah.
go. don't worry about what anyone else tells you to do, or if you
Yeah.
feel, because I beat myself up over that. I really
But
do.
you know what now? Do you know what now, Anne? And it might make sense to you. I remember reading this and I was like, do you know what? This is really powerful and it's really beautiful. When you react to something and say
Yeah.
like you know, because you have beautiful self-awareness and you didn't go over, but then you felt bad. What they say, the first instinct or the first is what you've been conditioned to believe. Now, it mightn't be safe, she might be a weirdo. That's your conditioning. The second thing is what you've done for yourself, how you've programmed yourself. So the second instinct is who you really are. So the fact that you felt bad and the fact that you were chastening yourself from it going, I should have gone over, that's the truth of you, not the first thing. The first thing was probably a bit of self-protection. It's unknown, she could have been anyone. But to beat yourself up over it and to say I failed is missing the point. You are actually that person. You had and even that instinct to give her something, it went out of you. So it's not a failure. It went
Yeah.
out of you to her, you know?
I did often wonder about it. And I will say also regarding light language, I was turning into a shopping centre and I seen this man get out of a car and he collapsed at the corner, pulled the car in. Now, there was a few people coming out of the shop at the time and they ran over to him. And I asked everyone to just stand back. Somebody phone, put my hands on his head, under his head, and I start whispering light language into his ear, whispering like that man passed while I was holding him and I was whispering light language. I that will even stay with me. And I know that I was meant to be there
Yeah.
at that particular moment in time. But whatever anyone had to say to me about move away from her, I was like, no,
No.
this is
Yeah.
what I'm to do,
That's
Yeah, these things.
beautiful. That's so beautiful and that's so powerful. And can you imagine if that was your way to pass and somebody like you, came over and just, made it okay. Like you must have been like an angel to that person. Do you know
He
what I
was
mean?
just at me and I was just whispering into his
Yeah.
ear and I was just like,
But the
that,
love in you, to want to touch and impart love to that person, you know what I mean? That's the important thing. And the light language, like it is so, so incredibly powerful and it really truly is. Like my daughter, like she's 19 now, but if she's going through something very stressful, she'll say, can you do your hugga bugga on my chest? Right? So I'll just put my hand over her, but then
yeah.
like it expels out of me. Like, and she'll laugh then. And I say, it's fine, you can laugh. It expels out of me and it can be really like gnarly sounding, but then it's gone. It's gone. You know what I mean? So, oh my God, like I said, the light language, because that's my personal experience with it, it will change you. It will change you if you give yourself over to it, if you practice it a little bit every day. Even now, if I'm driving somewhere, it can spontaneously come out of me, and I know that the people in the cars around me need it. That particular geographical space needs it,
Yeah.
and I let it
Yes.
flow till I'm done, and then I move on. Now, if anyone's listening to this and they're like, "This sounds nuts. I don't want that." I'm not saying I'm special or anything, but I really feel for me because talking to other people who experience light language, it's much lighter for them. They don't go through all of this storm and drang that I've gone through. But I think for me, that was my purpose, so to speak. It was one of them anyway, to come here and hold that space. And even being on YouTube, again, no ego here, but it did boom out of that. A lot of people were activated by my videos, and there was so many more people then on
Me included.
YouTube doing it afterwards. Vanessa was the only one I found when I started in 2016, and then like there was this big boom. So if you're scared by what I'm saying, I the majority of people I speak to, it's a beautiful, gentle kind of unfolding. You know what I
Oh,
mean? So don't be, oh my God, I don't want this at all to be driving in the car next time babble boobin. No, it is
you
beautiful. You
could
can
do it
speak
if
it
you try.
over your plants, your food, your water, your children, your home. what I used to do if I had an argument with my husband, I would hold us and speak over us in my mind to bring healing to that. If my kids were away somewhere, you can spontaneously like speak it over them. There's so many uses for it, but if you let it flow through you, you will find oftentimes even that you wake in the night and your body is moving, or the energy is moving through you. You will definitely open up psychically. It
Yeah.
opens up all those kind of gifts, and that's nothing to be afraid of either. It will make you a more in tune human. You'll know that's not for me, that person is for me. Something's off about this. It's like, oh my God, you'll just kind of like move like Neo in the Matrix dodging the bullets. You know what I mean? You'll move through life like that. And it
Yeah.
all comes from that opening. Just see yourself like a flower, just slowly opening. And
Gradually.
all it is just bringing you back to pure, pure love that's having a ball through you right now. And all these harmonies and this beautiful sound that comes through you is yours first. So it's your medicine first. This is what I always say. However it comes through you, some people it might be just their hands move. Some people it could, verbally come through. Other people draw it, write it. They get the symbols just pouring through their hands. That happened to me actually. I remember as early as like play school. I used to just make this shape over and over and over and over again.
Cute.
Yeah,
So I was drawing or poetry
yeah.
or
Or
just,
if I was in, say, around adults, I would make this kind of fast symbol with my fingers as a child. So I was like already like clearing the spaces,
oh my goodness.
you
Yes, you
know?
were.
So think of that as like this fantastic superpower that you now have. So say you're sitting with someone and you feel like your life force is draining out of you. You can kind of go, okay, what symbol, what sound, what feeling can light language give me in this moment that will make me feel I'm okay in my own energy? And your fingers might move, or you might hear a sound in your head, or it might come out of your mouth. You might see a color, a symbol,
Yes.
and you
Yeah.
hold that and you focus on that, and then you'll feel the shift. You'll feel it in you. You'll feel it in the people around you. You start to not get engaged so much in people's dramas. Um, you start to understand yourself as a powerful manifester. You start to understand that your mind just opens in a different way. You Whatever is for you for the highest good, it's yours already, or something better, and you know that about your loved ones now as well. So no matter what's coming to them, you, you'll understand it on a deeper level. You know what I mean?
And your heart is your heart and your head is just like,
Yeah. And
and
that's
it's
not
coming.
to say that you don't jump into the human, but it's less and less.
Absolutely. It's less and less. If I go for a walk now and I'm sitting on the hill of Houghton, I'm there going, I've nobody's drama
Yeah.
anymore. And the freedom that I feel to just be connected, just looking at the sea, sitting on this bench, I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this
And
brings me joy.
and you start to connect to the light language that's in nature. So if you're sitting by the sea and you
Yeah.
connect into the codes in the sea, you'll feel that move through. You sit with a tree or you think of a tree, the codes of the tree will start to flow through as well. The codes
Oh,
of the ground, the earth, the air. The air is a very powerful one. It's something people don't really tune into that much. But if you're out walking, that's a living being. The air, is a living thing around you. It's an element. And you can connect in to that element as you're walking as well. You know what I mean? So it's limitless. That's what I say. It's limitless. You know?
yeah. If I go for a walk, it's not just going for a walk. I'm going for a walk for the air to
Yeah.
clear my
Yeah.
etheric field, clear my headspace too. But it just that intention shifts everything on that walk for a person. But Marlene, like this is just I'll have to get you on again. Like give me a bit of space because I didn't even get to ask you like the questions, and I don't want to keep you forever. As much as I want you to stay here, I'm just like in absolute awe. But what I will ask, if it's okay with you, just a little short example of your light language, because it's absolutely beautiful. I went into your webpage, paid a donation, and I got from that light language that you put out there for everyone to get for that as well. It just did something to me. It's
Yeah.
soul based, and it just
Good.
bypassed. It
And
just by
every so often I will put out um
Yeah,
a
you do.
group healing, and it's very nominal fee. It's like €13. Most people can manage that, but they become part of that collective for the half hour, and people have really powerful experiences because um everyone's coming with a focused intention. You know what I mean? So it's beautiful. But what will we hold the intention for, Anne? Both of us together with the light language. What will we
Well,
hold the intention?
I think, well, a lot of people that will be listening here would be either developing mediums, like myself. Um, so
Or maybe
some
third eye, a
word,
gentle opening of the third eye or something.
yeah, a release judgment, because a judgment and
Yeah.
opinions affect us big time. So maybe something around that would be really lovely for us
Okay.
all to benefit from, if you
Okay.
don't mind.
Not at all. So about a minute. But what I would say to anyone listening right now is to just close your eyes for a minute if that feels comfortable for you, and just take a nice deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and know in this moment in time you are a magnificent medium. You have all the skills that you need to bring healing and comfort and connection and joy to your clients, to your loved ones who are missing their loved ones in spirit, and giving them proof that their loved ones are here just without a physical body. You have that power. You have that blessing. And I ask now through all directions of time, space, reality, in any place where you're holding guilt, shame, judgment, fear, fear of being seen, fear of persecution, according to your highest good, this dissolves now easily and effortlessly, allowing you to step fully into your power, to shine brightly like the star that you are, meant for this time, meant to share your gifts. Eritorokia masutuyashi. Ebarokoranga makturikia karuya suturina alutoria matukis. Ian tushikara kapetushiktiana turuya maturia sutayamachi. Kuruya matashibia sutayamatu yeshibia basatuya mata yukliko sonamanatu yeshiki. Agruana manatu sikuri manishitero matash. Reko sonamateshu amiato erak onomatara isetu kaishi no manatash. Anjetoro boya mase yushati amayota yingo sanamani yotaro kusenshi. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yomoto yugosute. Hallelujah. Take a deep breath out. The peace.
Here's
Yeah, that felt really strong, really powerful. So if anyone's listening, they feel a bit wobbly or bring something up or whatever, just know that you're fine. Just take a drink of water, rest for a minute if you can, because it's very potent. It doesn't matter, the length of time with this. It's potent.
Yeah.
So
It
enjoy
sounded so,
the whole thing.
it's weird. It's just energy. I recognize it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's I recognize it. Anyway, Marlene, oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank
My
you
pleasure.
for today. Thank you for everything that you bring to the table. Thank you for the love, the devotion, it's just you're an embodiment of everything that is good within this world.
Such a nice
So
thing.
that we have crossed paths, and I'm able to share you now within this podcast to more people to reach out and find you, which I'm going to have everything in the show notes. I'm going to do a lovely little write up about you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Absolutely Loved it. So, namaste, sister. Thank you so much. Namaste, I do say to people, but
Namaste.
thank you so much for joining me on the NET chats here today. Thank
My
you.
pleasure. Thank you.